These numbers are likely going to surprise you. You probably think the biggest risk in buying a home is overpaying, getting talked into that 10 or 20 grand more than the place is actually worth. But here in Ventura County, about 1 in 10 deals fall apart over something most buyers don't even think about until it's too late. Insurance. Not the price, not the repairs, just the inability to get the policy at all. And here's where it gets even worse. That's not even the expensive problem. A bad insurance situation might cost you a deal. A foundation issue on one of these hillside homes, that can make the property literally uninsurable. Meaning you close, the insurer runs their report, and now you own a home nobody will touch. I've watched buyers get crushed by a single problem they could have caught during the escrow. But here's the part that's going to shock you. That's one deal breaker. I've got 10 of them, and the scary thing isn't any one issue on its own. It's that if you spot 3 or more on the same property, you're not looking at a fixer-upper. You're looking at someone else's deferred disaster with your down payment attached. Number 1 is foundation problems and hillside movement. This is the biggest one on the list, especially out here in Southern California, where so many homes sit on hillsides. Stilts, graded lots, cracks, settling, slippage. Active hillside movement is the thing. Any of that needs a structural engineer before you get to go one step further. Here's the thing about foundation issues. The cost is open-ended. You don't get a clean estimate. You get a range, and the top of that range can make a home uninsurable, which means you can't just get a loan on it. You can't sell it easily, and you can't protect it. If a structural engineer flags active movement, that's a walk. Full stop. Number 2 is drainage failures. And this one I'm talking about from personal experience. I bought a home a couple years ago and had no idea when it rains hard, the whole patio area turns into a lake. Cost me around 10 grand to fix. And I got lucky because the bad drainage doesn't mean a soggy yard. It can slip your foundation over time. The water builds up, saturates the soil, and the ground starts moving. Most people buy in the summer out here and never see it coming. So tell your inspector to run a drain test, front yard to back and backyard to front, so you know exactly where the water goes when it actually rains. If drainage is fixable and the seller can credit you for it, it's renegotiable. If it's feeding a foundation problem, go back to number 1. Number 3 is roof life. And I want to be clear here, this is not about shingles. Walk through the house and look up at the ceiling. A stain on the ceiling is a trail of breadcrumbs. Follow it. Get receipts on any repairs, find out when they were done, and then make sure your inspector actually gets into the attic. I've seen lazy inspectors skip the attic altogether, especially in hot summer heat. It's uncomfortable up there, but I don't care. That's just not good enough. A ceiling stain that's 2 years old means the attic could have been rotting the whole time. Rotting framing is a silent killer that doesn't show up until you're already in escrow on your next sale. If your roof is borderline and the seller will credit you for the full replacement cost, that's renegotiable. If the attic framing is compromised, you need to walk. Number 4 is HVAC at end of life. The system might be running when you walk through, but running and reliable are 2 different things. I've seen it happen more times than I'd like to count. Buyers close, move in, fire up the AC, and in the first week, it dies. Get an HVAC tech in there, not just a general inspector, and ask them in writing for a ballpark on how much life is left on this unit. If they can't give you one, that's at least a rough answer. That tells you something. This, once again, is usually renegotiable. People know that their AC units are on the fritz. They just don't like to admit it up front. Get a credit that covers the full replacement and move on. Number 5 is electrical hazards. And this one can go from inconvenience to catastrophe fast. A friend of mine did a full renovation, updated all their electrical throughout the whole house except above the garage. Nobody worried about the garage, except old fan, old wiring, and the whole house burned to the ground. Everything gone. When a house goes up, you don't have time to grab anything. So if you're wiring in any part of the property, make sure you check the whole property and just get the whole thing done. To me, if the seller is not willing to take care of this problem, it's definitely a walkaway point. The garage is the most commonly skipped area, so make sure that your inspector checks it. Number 6 is plumbing, and slab homes are where this gets crazy expensive. Low water pressure is your first warning sign. What that often means is lime has been building up inside those pipes for years. You're eventually looking at a full repipe. On a slab, that's not just pulling out pipes out of the walls. Some folks end up routing everything through the roof because there's no other way. Lime stains around fixtures, hard water buildup, slow drains, these all are signs. Don't ignore them because you will definitely get it hit in the end. Number 7 is termites, dry rot, and wood-destroying organisms. These tie directly into the plumbing links and the roof because moisture and wood just do not go together. If it's out of control in one corner of the house, assume it's like that somewhere else as well. This must be fully cleared before you can close. Not promise, not in progress, completely done. A seller credit for partial treatment is not acceptable here. Either it's remediated or you're walking. Number 8 is environmental hazards, and this one is where people skip inspections. Asbestos in acoustic ceilings, asbestos wrapped around old ductwork, underground storage tanks, mold, all these things happen in the coast, and you need to make sure that you're accounting for them. Southern California is pretty forgiving on mold compared to the other coastal areas, but closer to the beach, you'll find it. And it's not obvious until you're already living there, wondering why you're feeling awful every single morning. Old duct wrap is another one for people because it's tucked away and nobody looks. An environmental inspection runs around $600. That's not nothing, but the cost is totally worth it if you make sure that your family isn't getting sick. Get it done every time, no exceptions. If something comes back, it needs to be fully remediated before you close. Number 9 is wildfire risk and insurability. And out here, this one hits differently. Roughly 10% of California deals fall apart not because of the inspections, not because of the appraisal, not because the buyer can't get their insurance at all, but because the buyer cannot get insurance at the price that makes the deal work. That's before we even talk about the properties where standard carriers won't write a policy at all. Shake roofs are an automatic no. No insurer wants them in fire country, and you shouldn't either. Beyond the roof type, you're looking at vented screens, defensible space around the structure, and if there's an HOA, whether they're actually maintaining the common areas and making sure there's an actual reserve to take care of such things if they aren't up to your standard right now. All of those factors go into how an insurer prices their risk. If you can't get a standard policy at a rate that fits your budget, the monthly math is going to get even worse in time. This one is often a hard walk because you can't negotiate your way to a lower fire risk score. The land is what it is. Number 10 is unpermitted work, and this one sneaks up late. You're deep in escrow, your loan is moving, and then someone pulls permits and finds out that the garage conversion, the deck, or the ADU were never properly permitted. If you're buying a home with a loan, your lender will not close on square footage that's not permitted. Cash buyers have room to work in this areas, but most buyers don't want to deal with the risk, which means this can stop the deal cold. Sometimes the seller can cure in time, pull the permit, get the inspection, close it out, but that adds weeks to what should have already probably closed. And not everything passes once the city actually looks at it. Garage conversions are the most common culprit, followed by backyard decks and ADUs that were built to sell the property but never went through the city. Go in with your eyes open on each of these. Make sure that you understand what you're getting into. Here's the framework. One of these on a list is a negotiable and can be used as leverage for a better deal. Use it. 2 or 3 of these, you need to have some serious pause. Run the numbers and ask whether the seller can make you whole. 4 or more, you need to think about walking away and walking away quickly. Every single item on this list is money out of your pocket. Every single item on this list is money out of your pocket, either at inspection period or years down the road. The only question is when. The inspection period is your last clean exit, so use it. If you want more tips and tricks, go ahead and subscribe. Drop a comment down below. Did I miss something? Do you think I'm crazy? Add them to the list. Let's hear about it, and I will talk to you later.